What if everything you've ever believed about life's purpose, your job, your relationships, even your very existence, was built on a lie? For centuries, philosophers have wrestled with this terrifying possibility, exploring what life means when there's no inherent meaning to be found. By the end of this video, you'll understand nihilism, existentialism, and absurdism, not just as abstract ideas, but as tools to navigate the uncertainties of life. To understand nihilism, let's go back to a time when the universe seemed orderly and full of purpose. For centuries, religious and cultural systems gave humanity a comforting blueprint for life. In medieval Europe, your purpose was clear: serve God, obey the church, and prepare for the eternal rewards of heaven or the fiery consequences of hell. Similarly, in Hinduism and Buddhism, existence was understood as part of a grand cycle of karma and reincarnation, with the ultimate aim of liberation, moksha or nirvana. These frameworks didn't just explain life, they gave people a reason to endure its hardships. Every sunrise, every act of devotion was tied to something larger than the individual. The universe, they believed, had a purpose, and so did every soul within it. But this sense of cosmic certainty wasn't built to last. Then came the 19th century, a period of rapid scientific and cultural upheaval. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most provocative thinkers of the era, declared, "God is dead." At first glance, this might sound like a triumph of atheism, but Nietzsche wasn't celebrating, he was grieving. The death of God wasn't just about disbelief in a deity. It signified the collapse of an entire moral and existential framework. Religion had been the cornerstone of meaning, morality, and purpose for millennia. Without it, Nietzsche warned, humanity was left adrift in a sea of uncertainty. In his parable of the madman, Nietzsche captured the existential dread of this realization. The madman stumbles into a marketplace and cries out, "Where is God? We have killed him, you and I. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers?" The imagery is haunting. A world unchained from its sun, spinning aimlessly into a void. With the death of God, Nietzsche argued, humanity had severed itself from its moral and metaphysical anchor. This is the essence of nihilism, the belief that life has no inherent meaning, no ultimate purpose, no divine plan. It's not just the absence of religious faith, it's the existential reckoning that follows when the scaffolding of meaning collapses. Without a higher power or grand design, the universe appears indifferent, cold, silent, and utterly vast. For many, this realization feels like staring into an abyss. If there's no objective meaning, why get out of bed in the morning? Why pursue goals, relationships, or even happiness? These questions lie at the heart of the nihilist's dilemma. Dostoevsky captured this fear in The Brothers Karamazov with the chilling line, "If there is no God, everything is permitted." But some see it as an opportunity. Nietzsche himself believed that confronting this void was necessary for humanity to grow. By dismantling the old illusions of purpose and morality, nihilism clears the stage for something new, what Nietzsche called the creation of our own values. However, not everyone can face the abyss without flinching. Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard observed that many people retreat from nihilism into what he called a leap of faith, turning to religion or ideology to avoid confronting life's inherent meaninglessness. Others, unable to reconcile themselves to the void, succumb to despair or even self-destruction. And this brings us to existentialism, a philosophy that turns the despair of nihilism into an opportunity. Where nihilism sees a void, existentialism sees potential, a chance to craft meaning from the ground up. At the core of existentialism lies Sartre's revolutionary idea: existence precedes essence. For centuries, thinkers believed that everything had an inherent essence, a predetermined purpose. A knife exists to cut, a tree grows to provide shade or fruit. But Jean-Paul Sartre argued that humans are different. We are born without a predefined purpose, free to create our own through our choices and actions. Consider a young artist trapped in a secure but uninspiring job. Existentialism offers a stark choice: stay in the comfort of stability or take the leap towards an uncertain but fulfilling path. Sartre described the former as living in bad faith, a rejection of our freedom driven by fear of societal pressures. Quitting, on the other hand, even if fraught with risk, is an act of authenticity. It's the artist embracing their freedom to define their own essence. Existentialism acknowledges that this freedom isn't always exhilarating. It can be terrifying. But alongside this anxiety comes empowerment. In the existentialist's view, meaning is not something you stumble upon, it's something you create. Relationships, creative pursuits, and personal commitments become the threads that weave the fabric of a meaningful life. For existentialists, these aren't just distractions from the void, they are deliberate acts of defining who we are. Existentialism invites us to embrace life's uncertainties, to lean into the ambiguity, and to find fulfillment not in external validation, but in the authenticity of living true to ourselves. As Sartre declared, man is nothing else but that which he makes of himself. But there's a paradox within this philosophy. Even as it empowers us to forge our own meaning, some moments still feel futile. What do we do when life refuses to make sense? When our carefully crafted meanings falter under the weight of absurdity? This is where absurdism steps in. Albert Camus, the philosophical father of absurdism, began his groundbreaking essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, with a line that shakes the core of philosophical inquiry. There is but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. These words aren't an invitation to despair, but a call to confront life's most fundamental question. Is existence worth enduring in the absence of inherent meaning? For Camus, the root of the human condition lies in what he calls the absurd, a profound clash between our unyielding desire for meaning and the universe's indifferent silence. Humanity longs for answers, yearns for a reason behind existence, but encounters only a cold, unresponsive void. Camus argued that this tension leaves us with three possible responses. The first, and perhaps the most instinctive, is suicide, an act he saw as a literal surrender to the absurd. For Camus, taking this route was not a solution, but an evasion, an escape from the struggle rather than an engagement with it. The second response he termed philosophical suicide, where individuals cling to the comforting illusions, be it religious dogma, utopian ideologies, or even blind optimism. To Camus, such beliefs offer a false sense of purpose, but demand a denial of the absurd reality. This leap of faith, he claimed, robs us of our ability to truly confront life as it is. But Camus' third response is where his philosophy of absurdism takes root, the idea of embracing the absurd. This isn't about finding or creating meaning, as existentialism suggests, but about living fully and passionately despite the absence of meaning. For Camus, this act of rebellion against the void is the ultimate assertion of human freedom. To illustrate his philosophy, Camus turned to the myth of Sisyphus, the ancient Greek figure condemned by the gods to an eternal cycle of rolling a boulder up a hill, only for it to tumble back down each time. On the surface, this appears to be the very definition of futility. Yet, Camus reimagines Sisyphus not as a figure of despair, but as a hero of defiance. Why must we imagine Sisyphus unhappy? For Camus, the act of embracing the struggle itself transforms it. Sisyphus finds a kind of freedom not in the result, an unattainable goal, but in the act of pushing the boulder, in fully experiencing his reality without illusion. It's a rebellion against the gods, against the absurdity of his punishment, and ultimately against despair. Absurdism, then, is not resignation, it's a call to live with eyes wide open. Camus described this as living without appeal, rejecting the false comforts of ultimate answers and embracing life as it is, with all its chaos and uncertainty. It's about savoring each moment, however fleeting. and finding joy not in what life promises, but in what life is. This philosophy encourages us to live authentically, fully aware of life's impermanence and lack of inherent meaning. It's not about solving the puzzle of existence, but about reveling in the act of living despite it. By refusing to surrender to despair or delusion, we affirm our humanity in the face of an indifferent universe. For Camus, this rebellion against the absurd is the essence of true freedom. One must imagine Sisyphus happy, not because the struggle ends, but because the struggle itself becomes a profound act of defiance, a declaration that life, even without meaning, is still worth living. Let's revisit nihilism. While it's often dismissed as a grim philosophy of despair, nihilism has another dimension, one that offers a surprising sense of freedom. The absence of inherent meaning, rather than being a void to fear, can instead be viewed as an open canvas. This interpretation, often referred to as optimistic nihilism, reframes the philosophy's central claim. If life has no intrinsic purpose, we are free to create our own. Take space exploration as a modern example. Elon Musk, a figure inspired by Nietzsche, approaches humanity's ventures into the cosmos not as a grand fulfillment of some divine destiny, but as an act of boundless curiosity. For Musk, and for optimistic nihilists, the drive to explore the stars stems not from cosmic obligation, but from the sheer exhilaration of what could be. It's about pushing boundaries for the sake of pushing them, reveling in the challenge and potential rather than seeking ultimate answers. Existentialism, too, is a call to action. It urges us to create meaning through our choices, to build a life that reflects our deepest values. And absurdism, by contrast, tells us to let go of the search for meaning entirely. It's not about building purpose, but embracing the chaos and living fully within it. So the next time you find yourself questioning the point of it all, ask yourself, what if life's lack of inherent meaning isn't a curse, but an opportunity? These philosophies, nihilism, existentialism, and absurdism, teach us that meaning isn't handed to us. It's something we define, something we rebel against, and something we live. If these ideas resonate with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the fascinating world of philosophy. See you in the next video.